This is Startup Biz Coach Radio, formerly known as Mornings with Terry, and we're empowering entrepreneurs right from the start. Find us at thestartupbizcoach.com every morning at 10 a.m. Eastern with your host, Terry Clay. Are you ready to get this business started?
Hey, this is Terry Clay, and I am back with another episode of the Startup Biz Coach Radio.
Hey, this is Terry Clay, and I am back with another episode of the Startup Biz Coach Radio. Yeah. So we are back again on the call yet another day. This is the Startup Biz Coach Radio. I am your host, Terry Clay. So excited to be back on the call yet another day. We do this call every single day, Monday through Friday, live from the blog, thestartupbizcoach.com, and we are just excited that you have came back to the call another day to get some value. And we interview successful entrepreneurs every single day, Monday through Thursday, and then on Friday I do the call myself because we are empowering entrepreneurs right from the very start, right from the very beginning. And so just like we do every single day, we are interviewing another successful entrepreneur. And as we do on this call, we allow our guests to introduce themselves. So please, Precious, tell us who you are and what do you do?
Hi, Terry. My name is Precious Middleton. I am known as Precious Jewel, the bookkeeper on Facebook, and I have an outsourced accounting service. The name of the business is PNR Bookkeeping and Business Services, and it's an outsourced accounting service for the small business. So we handle your bookkeeping, your payroll, your taxes, your administrative tasks for the small business.
Awesome. So how did you get started in actually helping business owners to keep some great books?
Well, that's a great question. I have always worked in the nonprofit area in our schools, behind the scenes on the PTA as the finance treasurer, and I worked for Bates, a local church, and as a finance treasurer, and I figured that I could help small businesses with those outsourced bookkeeping solutions.
So let me ask you a question. We are the Startup Biz Coach Radio. We're empowering entrepreneurs right from the very beginning and right from the very start. So this is a great topic about keeping great books. First thing, tell us where we can start. If we're a new business, well, how do we start with keeping great books? What do we need to do?
If you are in the business, you need to keep great books. Having your receipts in a shoebox is no longer acceptable if you are trying to get a business loan. And so if you contact PNR Bookkeeping, I can help you set up some processes and systems in place so you feel organized and you are able to pull your bookkeeping at a moment's glance.
Okay, so tell them where they can get started. Like, in what area can they get started? Okay, before they come to you, and what do they need to do first? What receipts are important? Why should they keep those receipts? Tell them what they need to do.
Sure. So if you're operating a small business, you really need to keep track of your income and your expenses. So if you are going out and you're purchasing, paper clips, paper, any small thing to help run your business, they can be used as a tax-deductible item on your taxes. So you want to keep track of all of those expenses throughout the year. And then we are able to digitally file your receipts and provide you with information about your expenses versus your income.
Let me ask you this. Now we spoke there's a system called QuickBooks, I believe. How can they use those to help keep their books in order?
Sure. QuickBooks is a accounting system where it will design your invoicing, your any expenses, your income, and especially if you have multiple levels of income through different sources, you want to keep track of each individual income and their expenses that go along with it. So QuickBooks allows you to do that instead of having it in a shoebox, per se, about the receipt.
Right. So is that a free, do they have to pay for that, or do they just download it on their computers, the app, or how can they get a hold to that?
Yeah, QuickBooks would need to be purchased through myself, or you can go through Staples and purchase it, or some store and purchase it. But really, there's a multifaceted information inside of QuickBooks, and so it's good to outsource that, especially if you're a busy business.
Right, yeah, because definitely you don't want to have to do everything yourself. We always talk about outsourcing on the Startup Biz Coach Radio. They are definitely ways to kind of save on your time and your expenses. So like I said, just say, for example, I am a startup business, and like I said, we are empowering entrepreneurs right from the very start. So so maybe I don't have a budget to hire a bookkeeper at yet. So what would I do? What could I do actually to get ready so that when I can hire somebody, what do I need to do first?
If you are currently not using any type of spreadsheet, or I would suggest that you use a spreadsheet and start keeping track of every expense. It's going to be time-consuming, but if that's all you have and you want to keep organized, I would suggest using a Microsoft Excel spreadsheet to keep track of those expenses that incur in your business. So
expenses meaning that, like you said, paper clips, but could it be dinners out or traveling, or what other things would be considered expenses in business? Or is it just anything? Is there something that is not considered an expense?
That's a great question. So anything that you use specifically for the business, the Internal Revenue Service says that you can use it as a deductible towards your overall income. So it has to be customary and reasonable for the IRS to say that you can deduct it off of your business income. So what is not able to be used as a deduction is gas. Everyone has a question about, okay, if I put this gas in my car, but the mileage is used for a deductible, but not gas.
Oh, that's good.
And so I know you, Terry, you travel a lot, and so if you have meals and entertainment that you can say that this is for a business, then you're able to deduct that as well. So you want to keep track of your meals and your entertainment, per se, for business purposes.
Okay, so let me just give you a quick question. You can, maybe they'll give them a good example. So we're having this event in Murmur Beach, Florida. They know about it. I've been talking about it, where we're going to teach people how to write their own books and virtual coaching, one-on-one coaching. We rented a house. We got a chef. We got food. We got travel. You got to get there, airplane, gas, or whatever. You said no gas, but my point is I'm going to let you break it down for me. So gas, and we got the car, rental car. And so if we were to say what expenses would be considered expenses on this event, and of course people had to pay us to come to that event. So tell us how you would tell us to break that down. That would be a great example, I think, to kind of help them out.
Sure. So if you are in Florida and you have meals with the person that you're planning on doing business with, those are deducted. If you have the mileage, say you rent a car and you have to go from hotel to hotel or convention to convention, those mileages are deductible. Any supplies that you purchase say you had to go out and buy flyers, marketing items, those items are used as a deductible.
Oh, wow, that's good. What about the house? Is that considered a deductible? Like we got the house for the event? Or would that be considered expense, I mean?
That would be considered a business expense.
Okay.
Yeah, so that would just be considered a business expense, but you wouldn't be able to use that to deduct from your taxes.
Would not.
Right, because it has to be reasonable and customary for the IRS to say this is a deductible off your business income.
Oh, wow. So does hotels consider that or is it a different?
It is different because the IRS could say, well, you could use your home office. You didn't have to go to Florida for the business. Versus a marketing, a flyer, or some pins, those are needed and required to operate the business. So they have to be able to operate the business in order for it to be
So they have to feel that it had to happen that way.
Yes. And then that's the reason why you have to keep your receipts and your expenses just in case you get an audit. And so you claim all of these things, and you spent, say, over $100,000 on marketing alone, you would have to keep a paper trail of everything that you did. Yes.
Wow, that's good. Great tips. That's tips. So let me ask you something. So we got, so that's something that a person could do themselves, especially if they're just a small business. But I'm sure there's big businesses as well. So when it comes to outsourcing, instead of the person having to do it themselves, with the event that we're having, this is when they would come into getting a bookkeeper to kind of help find the best ways to use the expenses and things like that?
That is correct. The outsourced business is really, it can be for the small business. Say they have multiple incomes and expenses from different facets. They want to be able to keep track of each one of those, right? So that is the reason why So if you're doing the bookkeeping and you're also trying to grow your business, market your business, you may not have that much time available. So that's the reason why it's good to outsource it and then make sure that the details and the accuracy of the information is being reflected.
All right. One more question I have about bookkeeping is when does it come to the point of trust? Because I'm sure we've heard horror stories about bookkeepers that kind of twisted the money a certain way, and how do we get to the point where we can trust someone to manage our books?
Sure. That's a great question. Confidentiality is very important to PNR bookkeeping, and the way you get to trust someone is really talk to them, understand what their experience has been, what part do they play in the community, and that's the way I would say you would get to know someone, trust someone about your financial affairs, which is a very sensitive matter. And here at PNR Bookkeeping, we offer a confidentiality statement and agreement, and so whatever is discussed is between me and the client, per se.
That's good. Good stuff. So I try to ask this question to a lot of the entrepreneurs because a lot of times as a startup biz coach, we run into entrepreneurs that are brand new and we're empowering entrepreneurs right from the very start. So how have you had failures in business? And if you've had failures, how did you handle them? And how did you turn those failures into success?
That's a great question as well, Terry. Have I had failures in business? Absolutely. There's been times where I didn't think that the business was needed, but I realized if you have an income coming in and the business is generating an income, and you have other facets that need to be done and completed, it alleviates some time for yourself. So I had to